Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the freshest edition of Rise of the Fan, coming to you live from the Go Live Vegas studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. We thank you for tuning in. I am the Hall of Famer, Aaron Phillips. My co-host for the show is a wannabe Hall of Famer somewhere down the line, Mr. Brett Lawson. How are you?
With each passing week, we are getting closer and closer.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
You're improving.
I love how I'm not working on it, you are.
I'm trying to help you.
Right.
I'm your tutor.
Yeah.
I'm your trainer, your mentor.
Yeah, and I'm the apprentice at work.
There you go. Yeah. Joining us in the middle today for today's action is a gentleman you may recognize from twin brothers from different mothers. More importantly, you may recognize his art, his illustration from every walks of life. If you've got a face, he can help make it better maybe. I don't know.
And if you got a voice, you always make it better.
There you go. Mr. Neil Portnoy joins us today. Good morning.
Good. It's a little early for me. You know that.
Yeah. I messaged him, what time do you want me there? I need him there by this time. He's like, I'm just finishing up breakfast by that time.
Correct.
But he has to be here by 11:30 anyway, so what's an hour early?
To find out who our guest is.
Yeah, he's been haunting me for our guest on Twin Brothers. And this is a lot. Listen, Brett, you and I will, we're going to always talk. We're not holding stuff over each other's head.
Right.
But it's so much fun after knowing this man for 5 years and working with him for almost 3 on this show that I have one little nugget that I can hold over his head, and he has no idea who our guest is for Twin Brothers.
And it's got to be eating away at him, right?
He's been sending me messages all week long. Is it this? Is it that? Because I put a promo up there with hints, like stuff with certain words. And he says, is it this one, this one, this one?
I even used a boxer and I get a response, swing and miss.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, really?
So much of your guys' brand is how you're always on the same page. It
Correct.
seems like even if you're going all over the place in conversation, the chemistry's always there. And now Aaron's kind of trying to break that mold, trying to jump ahead.
I have the upper hand, at least for 7 days.
Next thing you know, you're going to be pulling a Shawn Michaels and super kicking him through a glass window.
Is that another clue?
No, it's not a clue.
No clue.
Nothing I say in the next 60 minutes, we have not harmed any clues in the making of this show.
Unbelievable.
So far.
All right, so far. All right, let's get down to business. You're watching we are watching Join the Fan. No, we want you to join the fan. You're watching Rise of the Fan. Here's our website. I wish my mouse worked, so I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned. Is your screen over here a touch screen by chance? Doggone it.
Maybe someday.
Join the fan. You know what? We are a community based on sports fans who love the sport, who love their teams, who love their players, but with one major difference. We don't want to talk about necessarily the action on the field. We are concerned with all the off-the-field stuff that as fans – we wish we had an opinion. We have an opinion, but we wish to be able to deliver it to somebody, right?
Absolutely.
So what can fans do?
And it gets a little tricky because so often in sports media, especially through radio, TV, podcasts, any type of content in form of a talk show or conversation you see always pertains to what's going on the field, on the court, in the ring, whatever have you. And now here we are trying to break that mold, trying to establish something different, form our own identity by discussing these issues and how they pertain to you, how they directly influence you, how they affect you, and all your contemporaries, so to speak. At the end of the day, if you're a fan, fandom is something that's collective. It's something that you have to be in the trenches with your other fans. And for that very reason, we like to raise awareness to unite you under that cause.
Did you see with the NFL draft going on in Cleveland, raining, pouring, and the crazies of Cleveland out there going, no, we're used to snow. We like.
I was going to say, this is summertime for them, even with the rain, right?
Unbelievable.
But that's fandom.
That's fandom.
Now, when we talk about fandom, though, we're not necessarily just talking about the situations of people who would stand out in the rain for things like that. We're talking if you're a soccer mom or dad or flag football or youth football, and you're concerned about certain topics like the concussions and things like that for the safety. You're also included in this because who do you think makes up the rules for these things? People that we don't necessarily have a voice to be in your local community.
And it's important you bring that up because so often when we think fan, we get caught in this slippery slope of thinking only professional sports or even big-time college sports. Sports are on that mainstream level with that exposure. But at the end of the day, those sports don't exist with those underlying layers, if you will. And those underlying layers are your average Joes, are your everyday citizens, are your soccer moms. And it shows that those type of fans are affected just like the fans filling these venues, buying popcorn and sodas and beers. It all goes full circle ultimately.
Absolutely. So I want to remind everybody that our number, because we want to hear from you, 702-329-6947. Press the number 1. You come right into the studio. If you're outside the U.S., our phone number is right there on the screen, 855-502-4321. And that's important to note. Why? Because we have something that we do every week here that folks love because they can win free stuff. And we have up for grab a box of pound-for-pound CBD health wellness products. And we also still have certificates from Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa from our good friend Lisa.
Who's in the chat room?
Oh, she's there. Good morning, Lisa. Oh, there she is. Hi, Lisa. By the way, have you become a member yet?
No, I went once and I had the time of my life. Little Bill, is that a Bill Medley song? Time of my life.
I think so. Righteous
Okay.
Brothers.
Righteous Brothers. And I'm too busy. I need to
You gotta make the time.
the time.
You got to make the time,
Gotta make the
especially
time.
when you're down here on a Saturday, half a day. If you're not going to the gallery, it's not too far from here to go get well. You can go from here. That's what I do on Tuesdays when I'm down
Really?
here. Yeah, I'm down here for shows, and
I just got to do it.
you got to do it.
I gotta do it.
I mean, Lisa's a big supporter of our show, dude.
Huge supporter.
Yeah, come on.
She's
All
an
right.
athletic supporter. No, never mind.
Oh, I don't want. I'll leave it
Never-
alone.
never
All right. Where was I going? I have no idea. Oh, so you have pound for pound CBD stuff, or we have certificates to Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Your choice. That's a $99 value gift card at $59.99 to. Oh, there you go. Right on the screen. Hand and Stone is the best place. That comes from Aaron E., who also, and his wife, they go down to Hand and Stone as well. So check them out, folks. You got to do it. All right. Now, why the phone numbers are important? Because Mr. Brett has our trivia question for this week's show.
We actually do not have it ready yet. We will momentarily.
What does that mean?
As in, I completely blanked and I forgot to send it to our producer.
Even though I texted you this morning.
Yeah.
Do you have the question?
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in a few seconds
Yeah.
with that. All right.
That's the difference between being a Hall of Famer
There you go.
Yeah.
and a soon-to-be.
Yep.
Well, that's soon to be wannabe. Because
Yeah.
now he's
Yeah.
down that level. He may
Yeah.
want to be, but
He
it's
took a
now.
step backwards.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
backwards.
Come on, Brett, get it together.
There
Brett.
you go. I want to welcome a couple of shout-outs. My good friend Jay Engel back east, gentleman I grew up with, is watching. Thank you, Jay. Of course, Lisa's in there. Our phone numbers are on the screen, and at some point in the show, we'll have a trivia question. All right. So, listen, we mentioned the draft, and I want to talk about this from a fandom base.
Sure.
Okay? You and I on our show, we talk about our love for our teams, and Brett is actually on my side, so it's two versus
So,
one.
listen, I can handle this.
So
We're good.
I want to ask you though, as a fan, now how much do you get into the draft? It's a 5-day event. We used to be like 7 days or whatever. How far do you follow it as a fan?
Well, you know what? I watch it.
Patriots fan, by the way, for those who don't know.
Football fan.
Football- well, yeah.
But a Patriot and a Raiders fan. I have to be now.
Well, yes, you have to be.
I have to be.
Yes, you do.
So what I've done so far in the draft is I get these little notices because you can, put your favorite
Right.
team in on your phone and say, the Patriots drafted a running back. Well, I don't know how to say his name, but he's a running back and he's a Bill Belichick power running back that may get 20 or 30 touches a game.
Right.
And then I go to the Raiders. Okay, the Raiders took a guy that nobody saw on their draft board, Ledbetter or
Right. The offensive tackle.
Yeah, right. Big man, huge man. Now that fits into Gruden's way
Right.
of playing the game. And then I go and say, okay, I have Neil's picture ready if you want to show it.
What
I'm
what
reading the
picture is
screen.
that? What picture is that? Let's just bring it up. Okay, there you go. That's why now his number one team is the Raiders. Very good. I'm glad you brought it up. Explain what that is to everybody.
Well,
listening.
that's an illustration I did called Raiders Through the Years, which has been enlarged inside of Allegiant Stadium, 28 by 40 feet. It's the largest work of art in Allegiant Stadium.
Yes. And is it available for those who may want to buy it for themselves?
Go to the Raiders. They own all the intellectual rights. When you do a contract with the NFL,
Right.
you do not give them your contract.
No.
They give you theirs.
give you theirs.
So I gave him my second born, the picture, and a play to be named later.
You don't have a second board.
I do, Jake.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Jake.
that's right. I forgot
Yeah,
about
Jake,
you. Yeah,
yeah.
which you can. Well, never mind.
Never mind.
Lisa Aronelica says hello. If you didn't see it in the chat room. All right. So listen, there's people out there that have parties, draft parties, and they make a big shindig of it like it's a Super Bowl.
It's an event.
It's an event.
an event.
Absolutely. Me, for a Giants fan, all I really care about is the first round pick. I think that's for the majority of people who are I don't say naysayers, but who don't dive into every pick every round.
Well, you break it down to say, okay, listen, as an avid Giants fan,
right.
Their needs are offensive line,
Which they didn't
defensive-
pick. Gettleman didn't do yet.
Okay, so you break it down to the point of you as a fan.
Right.
We as fans look at what do we as
Right.
fans want for our team to
Right.
get to the next level. We don't have that insider analytics information that they do.
Right.
Now, I was very surprised at the third pick in the draft, the quarterback out of North Dakota State, I
Right,
believe.
for San Francisco.
I never heard of him.
I did. I have. I recognize his name, but they were all pointing towards Mac Jones as the guy that they were going to pick because he
It
fits
fell to
Shanahan's
Belichick
system.
and the Patriots.
And it fell to Belichick, So listen, the only sure thing was Trevor Lawrence. That was it. And
He's not a sure thing.
well,
I mean, he
Closest
he was
thing to a sure
he was a sure number one
Yeah.
pick in the number one slot. That's
Well,
what
listen,
I meant by sure.
the kid, since he was a little toddler, has been raised to be a quarterback. Went
Yeah.
to the quarterback camps. And,
Right.
He's a
you
prodigy.
He's a prodigy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this question. We're talking about the fan.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball for All-Star, they ask for fans' input. I think they do the same thing for the NBA. Do they do it for football, or is it just the players still?
Generally, just the players.
Okay.
When looking at the Pro Bowl, it's probably had the least amount of change of all the All-Star games.
Right.
I mean, it changed location. For the longest
Right.
time, it was in Hawaii, and people thought they never venture from Hawaii, but they did.
Right.
And even though they drifted from their Aloha Stadium,
Sure.
the format of the game is the exact same.
Of course.
For the longest time,
And
it
it's
was
even
after
worse now.
It was after the Super Bowl. Now it's
Correct.
before the Super Bowl. So those players who are selected, who are part of those respective
Right.
AFC and NFC championship teams, they're not going to make it.
Right.
So,
So
those are the little
format,
tweaks.
Brett, the format you're talking about is don't touch me, block,
Right.
don't run after me,
Yeah, right.
tackle.
Yeah,
one of those.
and remember that was that year so bad. I believe it was 2011 where they nearly pulled the plug because it was
Right.
like offensive and defensive linemen were just standing there. And then
Right.
the next year they played a little bit harder enough to get for Goodell to kind of say we're going to keep it. It's not going anywhere. And then they changed the rules up for the. Because remember, it's AFC, NFC. They switched it back a few years ago.
Right.
There was about a 4-year stint where they had captains.
So if
where
they
had
go into
Michael
like
Irvin, Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, those guys.
if they go into an extra period, do they put a man at second base? And
Yeah, right,
what
exactly.
happened?
It's one of those things where it's all those surface level type
Sure,
of changes they
sure.
think are going to immediately affect the entertainment quality of the game.
Right.
In the long run, it really didn't. And listen, I don't think the baseball All-Star game is exactly thrilling. It may be the most exciting of all of them. Plus, the way the home run derby taking place the night
Right.
before,
Much
it's a
more.
part of like a weekend festivity type of thing. But football and basketball, you're never going to get a whole lot of entertainment and good quality play.
No, but here's why I asked that question. The fans are involved in the All-Star voting.
Yeah.
They're involved in that. Would it be so far-fetched out there that teams poll their fans? How much weight do you want to put into it? And I'm focusing on the draft, saying, all right, fandom of Green Bay, I want to use them because there's so much controversy over last year's pick, the quarterback. Should the teams listen and get input from the fans, who the fans would like to see? Even though if it's a 1% level of interest in what they actually do, hear from especially in Green Bay, they own the team.
Right.
The
That's what
fans
I-
own it,
and
right?
I
that's
was just
why
gonna
it's such
bring
a
it up.
factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not listen to your fans? That's what we're supposed to be doing, right?
Well, do large corporations listen to their stockholders? Why
Right.
isn't Green Bay listening since every fan
Sure.
owns a portion of the club? That's
Right.
a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
They're the only team that's in that situation. But as Giants fans, as Patriots fans, what would be so terrible if the team said, look, you're an avid fan, or even if you just poll a percentage of your fan base, or however they find you.
Or a single advocate. Like
Something.
something is better than nothing.
At
Right.
least have the option for fan involvement,
Right.
whether they use it or not, which
Right.
they probably wouldn't.
Probably
you know
wouldn't,
what?
but make
it's a
them
good
feel
PR.
involved.
It's a PR move.
Right, exactly. So obviously it'll probably never come to that. But
Yeah.
why not have their input? All right, I just got a signal from our producer.
Okay, I'm ready for redemption,
All right,
baby.
so should we do this again?
Oh, absolutely.
Our phone numbers are 702-329-6947, 855-502-4321. If you're outside the United States, either way, both cases press number 1. Why is that? Because we have a feature every week. Usually at the top of the hour it starts to give you as much time as possible. We have a trivia question. Go for it.
Beautiful. All right, so how many Pro Football Hall of Famers have been drafted first overall in the NFL Draft? We're keeping a draft focus. Here we are on day 3, rounds 4 to the very end. Obviously, you solidify your depth, so very important. So I'll ask it again. How many Pro Football Hall of Famers have been drafted first overall in the NFL Draft? Our answers are, or choices of answer, are A, 27, B, 8, C, 32, and D, 14.
Bingo! Sounded like you were calling bingo.
Oh, really?
Oh, no,
Okay.
okay.
I'm going to go with A.
Is there E like all the above?
I wish, because those are the reason why I hesitate to say I wish, because I just had some traumatic flashbacks to SATs and thinking,
yeah, right.
and anytime you see one of those, you're like, oh, even though you never see that on the SAT, you see that on like the standardized test.
Exactly.
You're an educator, you know that.
How many years has the NFL had the Hall of Fame?
When was the inaugural class? I believe it was early 60s, like 62,
You
63.
got the computer
I know,
right in front of you.
I
Why are you asking?
Because you know what?
Because you know
in
what?
the midst of conversation, sometimes you just have to brainstorm.
Well,
and see what
I'll
happens.
buffer for you. So the winner, you have to call in. We're not accepting answers in the chat room. We're not accepting answers via tweet. Join hashtag join the fan. If you do want to send us a question, that's fine. You must call in, and the winner will receive a choice, your choice.
I nailed it though.
Of a pound for pound box of wellness products and or a Hand and Stone massage and facial spa certificate, good for a 50-minute certificate here locally at the location here in Las Vegas. But if you win and you're outside our current area, arrangements will be made for the nearest location near you, as Hand and Stone has 400 locations around the country.
So you're
your
looking
choice.
at 60 years plus.
Yep.
What was the year?
1963.
63.
Yep.
Okay, so 60 years. Let's say it's 60 years.
So it's 1 year older
So
than me.
you're figuring in 60 years, how many inductees have gone into the NFL Hall of Fame? Let's break it down that way and then go, okay, now how many of them were number one picks?
Right.
Now, you're not saying the number one in the entire draft, but for that team's number one pick.
No, I'm saying it's basically how many number one overall picks have gone into the Hall of
the
Fame.
teams,
Right.
okay.
So
There you
basically,
go.
how many Trevor Lawrences essentially have gone into the Hall of Fame?
There you go.
Yep.
All right, with that, we're going to take our first break. So
27.
So first, we have a message from Squid Cup.
You got it. So wouldn't it be awesome to never spill a drink again? We thought so too. And that's why we developed the non-tipping magnetic Squid Cup system. It creates a cup holder when you need it using the power and simplicity of dual magnets and micro-suction cups. Whether you're on the water or road, too few or too shallow cup holders will never be a problem for you again. The Squid Cup system features a 16-ounce double-wall insulated tumbler and an insulating 12-ounce can cooler. You can visit squidcups.com to order.
And now a message from Wahoo's.
I can't put the rubber on.
It was 1988 when Wahoo's was started by the Lee brothers in Costa Mesa, California. They had a desire to blend their unique heritage of food experiences and bring them to the table for others to enjoy and feel more alive. With 6 convenient locations throughout the Las Vegas Valley, there's no reason for you to miss out on the great taste at Wahoo's. As if that wasn't enough, take advantage of the $2.95 Pacifico all-day, everyday special. To find your nearest location, simply visit wahoos.com.
When you think of relaxation, do you think of a massage? If not, you should. Las Vegas Hand and Stone Massage at Silverado Ranch provides professional spa experiences at affordable rates. You will be enveloped in soothing sounds and aromas on your way to total relaxation. De-stress with our full body massage to relieve tension, soothe tired muscles, and temper migraines. You can select from many options including CBD, deep tissue, sports, and our signature hot stone massage. Call 702-941-7833 and start de-stressing today.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the views of our guest Neil Portnoy do not automatically reflect the views of the Fan Action Nation.
Do you need a little lubricant? How do you get that thing on?
I also got to say, that is excellence in broadcasting at its finest.
Neil just asked how you do that, and I said,
My goodness.
Can I follow that up? I don't know if we want to mute this so Andy doesn't yell at us. You just apply a little pressure and it just slides right in.
Unreal.
Okay.
Unreal.
See, I mean, we were laughing through the entire break. That
Yeah.
was Just, I'll give credit where credit is due.
And I'll be honest, you know what? That I needed that shot in the arm right there. We came in kind of dragging the feet a little bit. I botched the trivia question for the first time. Usually I'm really good at it. We redeem ourselves by popping it back up. We'll read it here in a second. But for Neil to go to break like that, man, I feel like I could take on a whole army after that.
There you go.
It's all part of your Hall of Fame training.
That's right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, exactly. All right. So before we go back to Neil, let's go to the website for a moment, if you don't mind, sir. This way we can kind of redeem ourselves for that comment. JoinTheFan.com. Go to the tab that says Join the Fan. Click on that, and it'll take you to your options to become a member. You'll have a platform to voice all of your concerns and your platforms. Okay. All your platforms, that's what it is. Think Facebook with AARP. And I say AARP because as we continue to build, you can go to partners, the partner tab here on the link. We currently have partners, if I can get over to that tab. But there'll be opportunities for discounts, involvement with other companies. It could be B&Bs. Who knows what it is? It could be anything. And so this is going to develop. Okay, so people are asking us, what do you get right now? Well, right now you get the opportunity to join in on the ground floor of an organization and an opportunity to be part of this community. Okay, and as we continue to grow, you look at our partners page. Yes, some of them are current sponsors, but guess what? Those are part of the benefits of being part of the Fan. You get the discounts for pound. You've got Hand and Stone on there. You got Wahoo's. If you need a mediator, guys, this is just beginning, and for only $59.99. Which basically, if you join today, and I get notification within the next 30 or 40 minutes that someone has joined, I don't care what level, you will also get a certificate from Hand and Stone at the same value of $59.99.
Yep.
The difference is here right now, you join the Fan for one time at $59.99.
And you're good.
And you're good to go, and then you'll thank us later. Okay, go over the trivia question.
Absolutely. So, how many Pro Football Hall of Famers have been drafted first overall in the NFL Draft? Is it A, 27, B, 8, C, 32, or D, 14?
First overall by their team, correct?
Well, it would be first overall of the draft itself.
Like a Trevor Lawrence.
So they're asking,
so
yes.
the number
So
one
number
pick in
one
the draft.
overall pick. So how many Trevor Lawrences essentially have gone? Exactly. So
What were the choices again? How many, numbers.
A27, B8, C32, or D14.
Bingo.
I'm going to B again. 'Cause
Right.
I didn't realize the question.
You went to B.
Yeah,
Now you went from 27, 8.
to 8. I only
Which
think
means in the
8
next break, we're going to come back and he's going to go to C. And then the final break, he'll go to D. He'll cover his
Well, it
base on
covers
all.
the whole hour.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to dive off the draft for a little bit because for those who don't know, you played baseball.
I was a baseball player.
Baseball player, pitcher for a number of years before you got hurt. Then you went into coaching.
Correct.
So baseball sports, as much as you love sports, baseball was your first entry into athletics on any professional level or any real organized level.
Correct. Yes.
So, interesting baseball story broke today, and I want to get your take on this.
Sure.
I think you probably saw it. I don't know if you did.
About
Roberto
the
Alomar,
three men.
Roberto Alomar, who was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. I think it was 2011. You messaged
Yep.
me this morning.
2011.
Wasn't the first choice, by the way, number one choice. But that's
No, he wasn't.
different
No,
sport.
he's not an NFL draft
Yeah.
person.
Right,
So he was accused of sexual misconduct
Yep.
from an event back in 2014.
Yep.
Major League Baseball took a very interesting stand yesterday and basically disqualified him from Major League Baseball. Rogers Stadium, where the Toronto Blue Jays play, he had his number retired. They're
Taken
pulling
down.
that down.
Yep.
So they're kind of distancing themselves from him. He's already a member of the Hall. Just move it. There you go. He's already a member of the Hall of Fame. Cooperstown has said we're not removing that. You're in, because God knows.
choice.
Right. God knows there's many people in there that also question their morality.
Ty Cobb.
So here you got a Roberto Alomar. Also let's not forget spitting on an umpire too was not a cool thing. What's your thoughts?
Without his mask on. And that
He
was
did not.
worse.
That's right. It was
Yeah.
pre-COVID, so
Right.
he was within that 6 feet. So as a fan of, let's say, the Blue Jays or a fan of Major League Baseball, what's your take on an event like this happening?
Without offending anyone, without using anything other than Me Too movement and all of those other things that involve. We're too far into this political correctness crap, and I'm going to say it. You know what? You're a Hall of Famer. You're a Hall of Famer. You get your number retired. You get your number retired. Don't take down the freaking statue. It's part of our history. That's just my personal views. I listen. They're getting pressure from their corporate sponsors. They're getting pressures from the outside world. You made a decision when you chose to retire the number. When, excuse me, the choice was made for the induction. You can't take that back. You can't take it back. You know what? You want to put an asterisk next to it, that's the nice way of.
There'll be a lot of
compromising.
asterisks next to a lot of Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You know what? The greatest thing that the MLB did was include the Negro League as part of the official
Yes.
Hall of Fame and not single it out as the Negro League.
Right.
They are Hall of Famers.
Right.
Roberto Alomar, like any other individual, we all have in the closet, so to speak, things that we wish never came out or people didn't know about us. You know what? This came out. What are you going to do with Deshaun, in Houston with all of these allegations? It's become now more an entertainment venue than an athletic venue. And entertainment's worth a hell of a lot more. They're getting paid as entertainers, not as athletic personnel. So when you start taking in that amount of numbers financially, you're adding in corporate sponsorships and all of those outside elements, which now change decisions that necessarily you may or may not agree with as ownership, but you got to satisfy your stockholders.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it. What do you got for me?
Well, no, it's interesting because his status in Cooperstown is fine. So that's what you have to see. There's some inconsistencies there. So if he's still going to be allowed into the Hall of Fame, why is the club themselves separating him from as opposed to
It's a separate entity.
Right.
Cooperstown has nothing to do with MLB.
Exactly. But that's my point. So it's saying if he's good enough to stay in the Hall of Fame, it seems often and again, despite them being separate, it seems inconsistent. So if Cooperstown's going to model what he did as his contributions as a player, his contributions as within the MLB, and the Blue Jays aren't, it's going to be hard to, I guess you could say, get a clear-cut narrative on him. So I agree with what you said in then that they're a little bit too PC and they kind of try to walk on eggshells in a way. But there's also a difference between canceling someone's legacy and their history and kind of erasing it from the archives, and also distancing yourselves from them moving forward.
So if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan,
Yeah.
what do you send in to your team about if you're unhappy? Do you let them know you're unhappy taking Roberto Alomar stuff down? Do you have that voice to tell them?
Or you say leave his stuff up and no longer associate him with the organization.
He was
so
a
we
special
can,
instructor.
Exactly.
That's a fan.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a fan issue. Let's bring that up to our fan base here
Absolutely.
on the nation.
That's why I'm bringing it up. If you had a situation with your team similar to what the Blue Jays are going through with Roberto Alomar based on breaking news, how would you feel about it as a fan if that was something like that on your team? Give us a call at 702-329-6947. Press 1 to come to the studio, as well as answering our trivia question. How many Pro Football Hall of Famers have been drafted first? Number 1, doesn't matter what team. Overall, in the NFL draft, your choices are there: 27, 8, 32, or 14. It's not my combination to my high school locker. Sorry.
Aaron E., is there a way that you can put up a poll? Let's put. You know what, Aaron?
Yeah.
It's your baby.
Take
this
over
show.
our show, absolutely.
No, I just said it's your show, baby. But I think if you put a poll up to our listeners, viewers, watchers, and members of the fan.
Absolutely. It would be interesting. Well, and this is a perfect fan question that
Correct.
the fans of either the Blue Jays or Major League Baseball in general, or from the legal side. It doesn't matter. Let's hear what you think about whether the stuff should be up, keep it up, or tell your team to keep it down. So the question is, would you take down, how do you want to word it? What's the best wording?
Here's the wording. Would you go all the way to the top to the commissioner of MLB and voice as Fan Nation your displeasure, your agreement? How would you address this? Would you consider this an issue to vote on?
Well, it's funny, too, because it often prevents people from, on the other side, going in. I mean, you're a Sox fan. Look at Curt Schilling. He's
Sure.
not in the Hall
Should be
because
in
of
the
his
Hall.
I completely agree.
The Sox is in there.
Because of his political opinion. Yet at the same time, like, it doesn't look like the Red Sox contingent has any intentions of backing off their Curt Schilling love. Most of the Red Sox fan base are still diehard fans of him.
Let me tie the poll down a little bit neater since we're specifically talking about Roberto Alomar.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just make the poll question this way. Should Roberto Alomar's Toronto Blue Jays stuff stay
Yeah.
or go? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's just target it into that because I think the fan voice would kind of echo the same on any situation.
But my point is, and I know they're separate entities because it's the same way in football,
Correct.
because people often forget, it's not and even on the graphic on the screen right now, it's not the NFL Hall of Fame, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Correct.
Because there's the AFL and the NFL in it.
Correct.
So if Cooperstown, which is considered like literally the mecca of all sports Hall of Fames, is considered like, heavenly ground almost, if they're cool with keeping them in there because they are separate with the MLB, it's I guess you could say you have to side with who ultimately do you more trust? Do you trust how Cooperstown's going to approach it, or do
Well,
you trust the Toronto's Blue Jays PR ultimately?
Right, look
You
at
know
it-
what I mean?
look at it this
Because
way.
it's a PR move by the Blue Jays.
Alomar played for multiple MLB teams.
Right. It's not like he was
Do
the
you
only
do
top.
this in Baltimore as well?
Exactly.
Are you starting something where, oh, geez, if the Canadian country is taking down his numbers, we as Americans should take it down in Baltimore? What do you do?
I don't know. I'm waiting for my mic to come back up. But he played for how many teams? The Mets?
Multiple teams.
I mean, multiple teams.
Four-
but I
about
think,
4 or 5,
I
But he
guess.
went in as a Toronto Blue Jay, didn't he, into Cooperstown?
Yeah.
Is that our guess? Because Met was part of the.
Who? Roberto Alomar?
Yeah, maybe we have him in it, twin.
No.
No.
You're still wrong. You have 60 minutes and
I keep trying.
stop thinking about that.
All right.
Anyway, what was I talking about? I have no idea. Oh, Roberto Alomar went in as a Toronto Blue Jay, and I think that's why the Blue Jays organization is responding to
Yeah.
that versus all the other teams where he basically had to drink a cup of coffee at each of these other
Right.
teams.
I got a great idea. How about Roberto Alomar refute his induction into the MLB into Cooperstown, and says, you know what? Change my freaking hat. I want an Orioles hat now because I don't like what they're doing.
That would be interesting.
That would take
That'd be
too much
cool.
money.
That would be a huge thing.
Too much
but yeah.
money to redraft the
absolutely.
plaque. All right, with that, it is top of the hour here. You're listening to The Rise of the Fan, coming to you live in the Go Live Vegas studios, where you can listen to us on our Facebook page, the Go Live Vegas mobile app, GoLive.Vegas, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. We're all over the place. We're going to step aside for a bottom of the hour break. We have some messages from our great sponsors and supporters. Please think about that trivia question. We've got prizes available. We'll see you in about 60 seconds.
Get ready to kick off with Football Darts. Football Darts is the revolutionary new game that lets you play the game of football on a dartboard. Anything you can do in a real game, you can do with Football Darts. Kickoff, throw or run for yardage, kick field goals, even turnovers. Football Darts is the perfect game for football fans. Play at tailgates, at home, at work, even remotely. Find your team at footballdarts.com or online at your favorite store. It's almost like being in the action at the stadium. Get ready to kick off with Football Darts.
P4P Therapeutics has created high-quality CBD products from 100% organic industrial hemp and are tested for purity and potency. Our products were specifically formulated with boxing champ Mikey Garcia in mind, as well as maximum benefit for recreational athletes and all consumers. From gummies and gel capsules to lemongrass soothe bombs to potent CBD oil tinctures, we have you covered. To see our entire line of available products, visit pfpcbd.com and place your order today.
Boy, Mikey Garcia, reminding you, pound for pound CBD, all natural, effective.
Keeping it going here, Rise of the Fan. Aaron Phillips, Brett Lawson, special guest Neil Portnoy in the studio. And I'm getting pretty good at leading us back from break.
Listen, I appreciate you still giving me top billing, even though you're doing the return.
You know, I slightly
appreciate
hesitated there too. I'm like, he's the A side of the card. Let's not forget. I'll give credit where it's due.
Sometimes the B side of the record sells better, though. Just keep that in mind.
I like it.
very
That is
true.
true. I wonder how, like, when you look at all those famous singles, how many of those was the B side, the actual
Don't
better
confuse
song?
people with our trivia.
I'm just saying.
But you know what? It
It's
was
a good
all up to
question.
back then. It was all up to the disc jockey. If the disc jockey liked the B side,
He'll
like
flip
a lot
it.
of Carole King songs,
Right.
the B side was much more popular and sold more records.
I feel like a lot of like those Velvet Underground type of groups, that was the case.
So if you're watching our show right now through the chat room, the poll should have popped up automatically, or could have, as it did on my phone. Should Roberto Alomar's retirement banner be removed? We just had to shorten it up and make it easy.
But that's
So-
a great way to phrase it.
Yeah,
too.
so just if you don't see it pop up on your video, then just go to the Facebook page for the Fan Action Nation, and you'll see the poll there, and jot down your answer. It'd be a lot of fun to see how it goes from there. Okay, plus our trivia question is still available, Mr. Trivia Question.
Absolutely. So our trivia question for today, focusing on the NFL draft. The question: how many Pro Football Hall of Famers have been drafted first overall in the NFL draft?
C.
Is
Thank
it
God
A?
we have one more break
Yeah,
left
right.
so we can change it to
Right.
B.
Is it A 27, B 8, C 32, or D 14?
There you go.
So there you have it.
So it'll be interesting. Please make sure you also take a moment to vote. Fan Action Nation, jointhefan.com is the organization that will allow you as a sports fan to have a voice, be heard, so that collectively, Andy Coppell, who's the founder of the Fan Action Nation, can do something about it on behalf of us sports fans. He can go to baseball, football, basketball, your local league, the doctors about concussions, whatever it is, and he will take our voice to be heard. Now, as a member, you get discounts on the swag shop. You get discounts from our partners, $59.99, one time, lifetime. That's it, one time. Listen, I've spent more than $60 and got far less in my lifetime than an opportunity as a longtime sports fan to be part of something where I can be heard forever.
How much does a Batman belt cost? More than $59.
No,
this is
actually,
a
what-
very great deal joining
It's
the
less
Fan
than a
Nation.
utility belt. There you go. It's
All right,
less
I
than
got
a
to
utility
tell you,
belt.
I bought this at Pep Boys.
Oh, really?
When I had my car oil change, and I was
Yeah.
just roaming around, and they have the little tchotchke section, the accessories.
Yeah.
And sure enough, It had a Batman belt. Now, why do you say what's so special about a Batman belt? Well, the belt
What isn't special about a Batman
well, that's,
belt?
that's of course.
Yeah.
But this is like a seat belt. It's got the clip button and the material is just
Oh,
like
really?
a seat. Oh yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Let's see if. Well, I'm sure Aaron.
knock things
I'm sure
over.
Andy's going to kill me for this, but I'm going to see if Aaron can
Now
get a
we're
picture of it.
we have Neil. Now we have decent exposure. Man, we are getting X-rated today.
Picture there on the belt.
I'll do a little play-by-play here.
I
Yep.
gotta cover my belly. I don't
Right.
Suck
There-
it in, please.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
great.
look at
That's
that.
pretty cool.
That's it. Just like a seat belt.
Look at
Love
that.
it. Like an airline.
Disrobing on camera.
I was well in between talks of rubbers and and
my God.
yeah, removal of belts. We're getting
And the material's just like your seatbelt.
Both
you go.
require lubricants. But go ahead.
That's very true, especially the buckle gets stuck. But anyway, all right, so we're going to stick with baseball for a moment because one of the rule changes this year was that relief pitchers had to pitch to a minimum of 3 batters.
and that was a huge issue. coming
Huge
in.
issue.
Yep.
Well, we saw a situation, I believe it was in St. Louis against the Phillies.
Yep.
Relief pitcher comes in for St. Louis. First pitch, plunks Bryce Harper
Right in
in
the
the
mu-
face.
right in the mush.
Right in the mush.
Right in the mush.
Left side. The slow motion picture was crazy to
Yeah, but
see.
he has the flap.
Well, but it missed all of that. Even
Yeah.
his hand, got his hand up and it missed
Right,
his hand.
right.
And you could see it flushed.
Cheekbone.
Yeah, left side. Okay, next batter comes up. First pitch, what does he do? Hits the next guy. Obviously, this guy's having control problems.
Yeah.
He is forced by this rule now to stay in for a third batter before
Right.
he can be pulled for a new pitcher.
Let me ask you a quick question and stop you right
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there.
yeah.
If I'm the manager and I cannot take him out, and obviously he's got control issues,
Feign an injury.
I give him that's one of the options. But option 2, which I feel is a former pitching coach, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I automatically walk that batter without throwing a pitch, and I bring in a new pitcher.
Yeah, because the at-bat's done. Yeah,
But
and
in
you
that,
don't risk anything.
But in
right.
that case, though, he already had 2 guys on. He would have loaded the bases.
And that's
I don't
the-
know how many
and
outs
that-
were on.
and
but-
and that's what's the key factor is in this conversation is Girardi was livid, and that's a key thing to mention.
Right,
and
he
then,
came out, right.
and then he came out. It resulted in an ejection.
Right.
But then on the other side, St. Louis even admitted if we could have pulled him, we would have pulled him. Now this is the first time this has happened, so this is
Right.
the exception, not the rule. It's the first time it's happened since I believe 1909, where we've had back-to-back batters hit in such a way. But at the same time, any other scenario, pretty much before this season where this rule isn't implemented,
Right.
he's yanked. He's
Absolutely.
gone. And if you're handcuffed to where you have to keep him out there when he has control issues, even though nothing did happen,
Right.
that's perturbing in a
What
way.
was
That bothers me.
Girardi? Why was, other than the obvious, why was Girardi upset? Because I'm sure he knew the rule.
Yeah, and it was clear it wasn't intentional.
Correct.
So that is interesting because obviously you're going to be mad with 2 batters going down, but I don't get.
Here's
It's a hard question to answer because
I brought it up for that reason.
yeah, because he'd be upset because again 2 of the at bats result in that.
2 of his players.
Two of
got
his
hit.
players are hurt. One of them being your franchise player. He gets tagged right in the face, but it's not intentional. So Girardi would have to basically just want him pulled, but he knows damn well they can't pull him because St. Louis would be the first team to pull him.
I don't remember if the umpire gave warnings to both sides after the second hit.
Yes,
So
I guarantee you warnings were sent.
So if in the case they didn't, in the small chance that they
Sure,
didn't,
sure.
maybe that's what Girardi was arguing about,
and he
that a
would-
warning wasn't given because now, listen, intentional or not, we know what the unwritten rules of baseball are.
And maybe it could be one of these NFL, and I don't mean to compare sports,
yeah.
but it's one of those NFL type things where it's like the right call but a bad rule.
Right.
So even though the umpire, you want to blame him, he's technically doing his
Right.
job because the rule states that pitcher can't leave yet unless he's hurt.
Well, if you go to the body cam, the conversation actually went a little like this. Hey, Jim, I'm going to come out and argue a little bit. I understand the rule, and I understand but here's what you're going to do. You're going to eject me, and then the next day, Saturday morning, on The Fan, which is this world-class podcast, they're going to discuss
Rise
it,
of the
and they're
Fan,
going to
get it
bring up
right.
my name,
Rise
and
of
the
the Fan.
PR is going to be really good for me. So what do you think?
What was the name of the baseball coach again? Who was the coach?
Girardi? What coach?
Girardi?
Girardi.
Yeah, he's from New
Girardi.
York. Yeah, him too. Both of them. They're brothers
The brothers.
from different mothers.
Listen, it's a rule that MLB changed because they think it's going to speed up the game instead of managers coming out lefty, righty, and all that. I agree with the speeding up thought process. I don't like the rule, just like I don't like the runner at second base starting in the extra innings. It's
is
baseball.
It's proven to not work. It has
It's-
not slowed games down at all.
Absolutely, it's baseball, and this is one of the things going back. You mentioned the NFL, but baseball now has instant replay. Just about all the sports have instant replay. I don't like instant replay. I'm a traditionalist. It's a game played by humans. Let the humans regulate. If they make a mistake, they make a mistake. Look, there are teams in the 50s and 60s that didn't have instant replay.
Cost the guy a no-hitter a few years back.
Well, it happens, and unfortunately, that was a play that the umpire could not, or whatever, didn't go back and look at the replay when it could have been,
Correct.
and the technology being used. So yeah, the fans are upset about that. But guess what? That's life. That's humans. If you want technology to rule the sport, then have technology play the sport.
Well, when are we going to go to the balls and strikes with the little beeps?
They're working
and get
on that
rid of-
too, and I think
know,
that
it's-
sucks.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, that's like going to a batting cage.
Well, the problem is a lot of these things are good on paper in terms of like the modern day game and changing it up in terms of the things that hold up baseball and kind of prevented it from progressing like the other big leagues have. But at the same time, certain things just can't happen in execution.
Well,
It's good. It's good
I
in
agree.
theory, but it's
Yeah.
not good in practice, right?
I remember,
Yeah.
Brett, I got to tell you a story when I was coaching college baseball, and I was having as a pitching coach, I was a real tough time with the umpire and in the small zone he was giving my pitcher on the hill. So I walked out to him, and the head coach is looking at me. You know, you guys know me. He's going, "Oh, Jesus, what's Neil going to do?" And I very calmly walked out to the umpire and said, "Jimmy, can I ask you a question?" He says, "What's up, Neil?" I said, "The strike zone is really small." He said, "Yeah, but obviously I don't need these anymore."
Yeah.
And I was gone.
Yeah.
I was gone.
Yeah, they don't care, and even that's an issue. Like you breathe wrong, and they'll
Oh
give
yeah,
you the
they
boot.
don't want it. They don't want to be what's the word?
Shown up.
Shown
Yeah.
up. And that's a human instinct that you don't want to be shown up. But man, we talk about this, and I harken the days. You watch the old videos of Earl Weaver and Billy Martin going at these guys,
baseball.
but give the umpires credit. They stood there, took it as long as they could. Other umpires came before they ejected. They gave them a lot more slack. We do have an answer in the chat room to our trivia question, but I'm not taking it on the chat. We talked about that. You
Good.
got to call in to win.
We do not bend the rules
That's
here.
right. This is not baseball. I can't go to instant replay. I'm not putting a runner on second. You got 18 minutes to call in, John, so I'm sorry, but you got to call in with your guess. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but we need you to call in.
And really quick, if I can, just to
Yes.
follow up on what you asked, Neil, this is a direct quote from Girardi in the aftermath of the game. "I understand why they give warnings, right?" He said. "I understand they don't want things to escalate. They don't want people to get hit. But if a guy hits a guy in the face and then a guy in the ribs with just 2 pitches, he's got to go, right? If you're really protecting the players, obviously he doesn't have command. He's got to go." But that's just a thing. That doesn't answer your question
No,
because
what he did is plant the seed.
Exactly. He planted his seed to say,
right.
he's basically making it say, like, if you keep this rule in motion, eventually someone's going to get hurt. But the problem is, you ask the St. Louis manager, he would be the first one to
Sure.
say, I wanted to pull him. I wish I could, but I can't.
This is when, what was the great actor, Earl Jones? What was his? He had
James Earl Jones?
This is a great time if our Aaron E. could find it anywhere. And listen,
speech?
I'm asking a
What,
lot.
the Field of
That's
Dreams speech?
Baseball.
Baseball.
You know, that whole, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. Hey,
Like,
listen.
Like they'll dipped in magical, they were dipped in magical waters.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
How's that vibe?
What are you reading?
Oh, John, you did. Oh, John, email me, ap@jointhefan.com. Let's fix that, man. Let's fix that. Okay, ap@jointhefan.com, John. Okay, so listen, these are things that rule changes are happening. They don't ask the fans. They
Yeah.
don't get fan input.
Great segue.
And I think we kind of touched on it, right? The All-Star game.
Yeah.
Okay? Ended in a tie. What do you do? Everybody's out of players, right? Remember that with Joe Torre was in the stands and
Yep.
yada, yada, yada.
Yep,
So the
yep.
game had to end, 9th inning, 10th inning, whatever it was, because everybody was out, okay? And then you have the, home, the World Series, winner of the All-Star game gets
Stupid
4 out
rule.
of 3, whatever.
Up until a few years ago.
Right. But these are rules that MLB makes without the concern of the patron that pays the bills for everybody. Okay, we're the ones that are watching outside, saying, you know what? As a fan, that rule sucks. Maybe you think the games are too long, but as a fan of baseball, I don't care if it takes 5 hours. It's the sport and the choreography of baseball. A pitcher, the batter, the signs, the movement. That's what's important. And some of these rules break all of that. And I wish the fan base could be polled, or, as in the fan, pool our opinions together and have our voice heard collectively.
I think the latter of those two things is the important one.
Of
And Neil,
course.
you had a point, so I'll actually let
Yeah.
you go ahead.
Yeah, what I was going to say, isn't it interesting that the test factory, and I'll put the word factory in quotes, is let's try it out at the minor league level.
Right.
Let's try it out at. Why not try it out by reaching to us here at the Fan?
Yeah.
Right.
And let us distribute to the fan base
Absolutely.
that we have
Right.
that'll may or may not alter your ultimate decision on where to test this
At least take
situation.
the temperature.
They're looking too much as it like point A, point B, but they're cutting out the middle. It's like obviously there's something needs to be done, whether it be the game is too long or you shouldn't change it at all. You need to figure out a way to gauge the fans, not to just get to that point B. And you can't even get to that point B without that middle part.
Remember always keeping one foot in the box?
Exactly.
Remember, guys used to go out, Nomar Garcia Parra, notorious,
Yeah.
with the glove and the bat and the hips and everything else moving. What happened to, and I thought they had instituted it, that you had to keep 1 foot in the batter's box.
Right. That back foot was always in question, was always the first line to disappear. All right. We're up against our last break. Before we go into that break, let me just say that the comments that Neil had been making, we give him a Squid Cup salute.
Absolutely.
Courtesy of Squid Cup. Speaking of which, hit it.
Beautiful. I love that
You
segue.
love that segue?
Absolutely.
This
We're
is why
cooking.
I'm tutoring. Are you taking notes on this?
Mental notes.
Okay.
There you go. That's good enough. So wouldn't it be awesome to never spill a drink again? We thought so too. That's why we developed the non-tipping magnetic Squid Cup system. It creates a cup holder when you need it using the power and simplicity of dual magnets and microsuction cups. Whether you are on the water or road, too few or too shallow cup holders will never be a problem again. The Squid Cup system features a 16-ounce double-wall insulated tumbler and an insulating 12-ounce can cooler. You can visit squidcup.com to order and find out more.
And if you get bored, just take the bottom off, the little magnetic part, and you can play mini Frisbee.
This is how we keep Aaron stimulated.
That's right.
Yep.
Just don't poke anybody in the eye. With that, we're going to go to Wahoo's. It was 1988 when Wahoo's was started by the Lee brothers in Costa Mesa, California. They had a desire to blend their unique heritage of food experiences and bring them to the table for others to enjoy and feel more alive. With 6 convenient locations throughout the Las Vegas Valley, there's no reason for you to miss out on the great taste at Wahoo's. As if that wasn't enough, take advantage of the $2.95 Pacifico all day, every day special. To find your nearest location, simply visit wahoos.com.
When you think of relaxation, do you think of a massage? If not, you should. Las Vegas Hand and Stone Massage at Silverado Ranch provides professional spa experiences at affordable rates. You will be enveloped in soothing sounds and aromas on your way to total relaxation. De-stress with our full-body massage to relieve tension, soothe tired muscles, and temper migraines. You can select from many options, including CBD, deep tissue, sports, and our signature hot stone massage. Call 702-941-7833 and start de-stressing.
All right, welcome back to the Rise of the Fan. Hey, caller, you just called in for you had I think it was a Sacramento area code. Please call back in. They're on the line? Oh, you got them? Never mind. Caller, thank you for calling for Rise of the Fan. Name, please, and where you're calling from.
It's John Rankin calling from Las Vegas, and I don't know why I have a Sacramento area code. I've never been there.
Oh, I don't know. It came up with an outside. It didn't come up with 702, John. So anyway, thank you for calling, dude.
You're not missing much.
I got Albuquerque, New Mexico. I don't know where they came up with Sacramento.
Go ahead, John. What you got, buddy?
I have an answer for the trivia question.
All right. I will turn it over. I'll turn it over to Brett first. He's our moderator for trivia questions.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Oh, we want to read it again? If we have an answer,
Go. Yeah.
why not? So how many Pro Football Hall of Famers have been drafted first overall in the NFL draft? Is it A27, B8, C32, or D14? And we have the answer ready to go. So let's hear it, buddy.
It is 14.
That is correct.
There you go.
I
Congratulations.
never got to D. That's not fair.
You weren't quick enough coming back from break.
Yep.
John, good job. Did you know that, or did you have a crack research staff help you out?
Well, I was looking at it, and I was thinking it had to be at least like a high, like out of those numbers, a high number, but respectable. Because you look how many draft picks that have gone number one, and
Been a bust.
They were busts. They're full. Right. Yeah.
Well, here's the good news, though. I know you're waiting on your first win of a prize.
Yeah,
this
John,
one will get there before that one.
Yeah, John, email me about that first one, and I'll follow up on it.
I did. I don't even know what happened because I did send it to the first the AP at jointhefan.com on April 10th, and I was like, It's weird, but whatever.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Let me give you my alternate email. Just for whatever reason, it may not have come through. You send it to Aaron Phillips, LV, Larry Victor, 2018 at Gmail.
All right, we'll do.
All right, send that to me. And then in that email, tell me what you'd like another of, either the CBD. What did you get the first time?
I think it was the CBD.
Okay, did you want another box or you want to do
Wait. I think I got it. Was it Michael Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, then I got it.
Okay.
I was like, I didn't know what it. I was like, how did I get this? I don't remember.
Yes, it was the pound for pound box. Okay, so we'll scratch all of that then.
We've added a new one.
What's that?
It's a Roberto Alomar banner.
Oh, stop it.
All right.
So
That's timely.
would you like would you like another box, or you want to get set up for a massage, regardless of where you are?
Massage, yeah.
Okay, now I will need you to email me all your particulars, your address, phone number, and everything, so that I can make the connection for you with Hand and Stone.
I did. I sent you it already.
All right, perfect, my friend. Hey, thank you for listening and calling in. You know we appreciate you following us on the show, man.
Good job, bud.
No problem. You guys have a great day, and good luck with
Everything.
With everything.
There you go. With life.
Thank God for Google.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, do you happen to have the list of who the 14 are? I'm just curious if you happen to.
I do not. We could do some digging, though.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was going to ask him that if he happened to know who the 14. You want to take
No.
any guesses as to who the 14 might be? Who's involved in that?
but knowing
It's not my guess.
knowing good one.
None of them are in there.
Knowing my co-host Hall of Famer, during the break, he would have done the homework and had all 14 to come back. No, you wouldn't.
The Hall of Famer delegates to the wannabe. This is like
Thank you. I was just about to
This
say
is
that.
like doctor intern stuff. I'm the doctor. I don't do grunt work.
And I mean this. Aaron's too good for that. Like if you're steering the ship, you're like, I'm passing that down the chain of command. I'm not going to do that.
I would at least pass the chain of command piece of paper here. Look at him during break.
Well, sometimes you get the best ideas on the fly. So,
If you are looking at it, I mean, I could just name them off if you want. 1942, Bill Dudley. 1945, Charlie Trippi. 1949, Chuck Bednarik. 1957, Paul Hornick, Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
Right.
1963, Buck Buchanan. 1968, Ron Yeri. 1969, O.J. Simpson. Man, we really are getting into today, aren't we? 1970, Terry Bradshaw. 1976, Leroy Selman. 1978, Earl Campbell. 1983, John Elway, the famous 83 class with Moreno and Kelly. 1985, Bruce Smith. 1989, Troy Aikman. 1997, Orlando Pace.
Wow.
I knew 12 of those names. So how many got in? 14?
14.
Who were the first two? I
And the first two are from the 40s. You have Bill Dudley and Charlie Trippi.
I had him for an art teacher in high school.
Would you?
Charlie Trippi. I did. That was his name.
There you go. And, it was totally the same guy. Totally the same guy. Yeah.
Neil is so full of shit.
Of course he is.
He drinks some of that chew he puts in there. That's why his brain goes.
The dip spit?
And the markers, of course.
and the
Right.
markers,
40 plus years behind all them Sharpies.
That's probably number one.
Probably right.
You illustrators don't get enough credit for
No,
that.
absolutely.
We don't get any credit.
JoinTheFan.com, folks. Go to JoinTheFan.com right now. Click on the Join the Fan tab, and for only $59.99 one-time membership and an immediate 15% off on anything in the store. So if you become a lifetime member, or as we like to call it, a visionary, you will automatically get discounts to our fan store for all of our goods and services, hats. Here you go. You got phone covers, mugs, the whole shebang, hoodies, you name it. We've got it there available. 15% off our masks just in case. If you join as a Rebel, that's $19.99 a month. That's a monthly membership, and you get 10% off our fan store right now. But join, have your voice heard, because you'll never have this opportunity again.
Let me ask you, do you guys get any kind of perk that if someone of our listeners, viewers, fans of the fan, members of the fan, are out wearing their merchandise and someone comes up to them and says, "Where'd you get that?" And then they go to the fan site and they use the name of that person who may already be in the database?
Are we talking commission here now?
No,
Well,
I'm saying
like an affiliate.
Right, an affiliate. Gotcha.
yeah, did they get a discounted option?
I don't want to necessarily speak out of turn for Andy. I
Right.
know he's watching.
Yeah.
However, for those of you who may or may not know, my business card is so big that my title for the fan is the director of content and whatever else Andy tells me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know it is on discussion.
So you have a a horizontal card.
I do. I have a horizontal card. Actually, it rolls out like the old Torah scrolls.
Oh, nice.
Hear ye, hear ye.
You put in the tabernacle when you're done?
Exactly. I get the whole choir behind me. Anyway, so I do know that a conversation like that is on the table.
Just
to where
it's
if you
just another
it's a
layer
referral.
of
Absolutely. So I know that is on the table for discussion.
Word of mouth
so-
does a lot.
Wow. Okay. Do you have like percentages, or are you just giving us? Okay. So the poll so far,
Wow.
is saying that how much? 60% of our poll is saying yes. Take down Roberto Alomar's stuff for his retirement banner.
I'd be curious
And I'm
to
surprised.
expand that poll to
Include the Hall of Fame?
demographics. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
want to see the demographics, because if we're talking, 20
You're
to 30
making
year
Aaron
olds,
work. He just scratched
Yeah.
his head and looked at you like, we only got 4 minutes left.
No, it is true. It is true though, because
Of
you
course.
you have to wonder.
Because that could be Toronto folks.
right.
Correct.
It's true. A lot of it's also the region.
Right,
This
of
really
course.
is. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, thank you for participating. You have a couple of minutes to voice your thoughts on that. Again, go to jointhefan.com. Hey, we actually got a trivia winner, which was great.
Yeah.
We know who the 14 people are.
Yeah.
We only have a couple of minutes, so I say we start wrapping up, reminding people go to jointhefan.com and join the revolution now before it's too late, doggone it.
How many years has this been going on now with Andy? Because I met Andy.
Right, we had him
met
on our
Andy at
show,
an event.
right.
We had him on the show.
Matt-
It is I got to throw that out there. It's a brilliant idea. It's fan involvement.
Yeah.
Fan Nation's not just two words put together.
Right.
It's a multitude of different options to be involved as a fan. And I love the fact that both of you brought up the fact that we're not just talking professional sports. The soccer moms, et cetera,
Yeah.
that are out there, they're fans of the game, they're fans of their child, they're fans of the sport.
Yeah.
Keep breaking it down.
Right.
This is Fan Action Nation needs to grow to levels that all of the issues can be addressed.
You got to cover the whole spectrum.
Absolutely.
Because the only reason those at the very top exist is because the sport has solidified itself enough at the bottom.
Right.
The reason why
Over time, yeah.
NBA, MLB,
Right.
major professional football have
Soccer.
soccer, hockey,
Wrestling.
professional wrestling,
Right.
boxing, golf, all
Thank you.
that have become so big because they started off big initially
Right.
at the recreational level.
Correct.
So the common the populace in general
Right.
was able to get involved, and then eventually you got that higher echelon, and that's how big time mainstream sports became such an established entity in the country.
Wouldn't it be great to break down Fan Nation, like you just said, on the recreational league?
Right.
The professional league. If different divisions of Fan Action Nation were, now you could be a member of multitude of platforms all under the umbrella of Fan Action Nation.
The way you just said umbrella was awesome, by the way.
I've been working on it.
Umbrella.
Why? What did I do? Was that my New England accent came
Yeah.
through again, or what?
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Nah, because
You put an R on the end before.
There's
Like-
no R.
Right. But
No.
you said
Umbrella.
it. though.
Absolutely not.
You said R.
But it does. But it rolls like an
I'd
R.
like to buy a vowel.
So anyway, Andy, I know was watching. I'm sure he's still watching. I think it's a great idea. But real quickly, for those who don't know, and to answer your question, Andy started this movement about 4 years ago. He was still is a big Golden State Warrior fan, has season tickets, etc. And what really was the tipping point was he needed to take a vitamin or whatever it was, and you need some water. Well, most previous stadiums used to have drinking fountains. Well, the newer stadiums don't. Why? Because they want you to spend $20 on an 8-ounce bottle of water there. And that was like the end of it for him because, he's paying X amount of dollars for season tickets. He's tired of not having a voice to be able to say that's unacceptable. So that really was the brainchild. So it's really been in his mind for about 4 years. He moved to Vegas about 2.5 years ago, and now the Fan Action Nation has developed to where it is. Our official launch was last month, and Vegas is the home of the Fan Action Nation.
When's the convention?
Right now it's slated for 2022. There's a big golf event that is planned for October, which you can check out online under the events tab. Hopefully you'll be out there for that, being able to represent your illustrations or do whatever.
It's the
I know
only-
Andy.
it's
I know
the-
Andy wants to talk to you.
It's the only game you yell 4, make 5, and put down 3.
He loves that joke. I've heard it more times than I care to shake a stick at.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My father would love that joke.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, great
A
stuff.
lot of good stuff.
Pleasure.
Final thoughts.
Hardly a guest. You were like the third head of the show today. This is great. We had the
Don't get
unofficial.
any ideas. I don't get up this early on a Saturday
The
morning.
unofficial third host of the Rise of the
The
Fan.
good
It
news
was
for
nice.
you, Brett, is that this is one of my students over the 2.5 years being on there.
correct.
So,
So
you can
just
see.
everyone's a disciple now, right? Everyone's
That's
an
it.
acolyte.
So
Yeah.
you're going to be guest hosting on the next show that Aaron does.
There you go.
All right. Final thoughts.
That's fun, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope it didn't affect your sleeping schedule too much. And to the both of you, best of luck coming up on Twin Brothers.
Right on. Twin Brothers from
Fun stuff.
Different Mothers coming to you at the top of the hour. Neil Portnoy and I will be talking about whatever's going on in Vegas and finally unveil our special guest that Neil has no clue who it is, and it's been so much fun holding that over his head for 7 days. Tune in at the top of the hour on all the same platforms.
R2D2.
Be kind to everybody. Why is that? We're all we have. We'll see you next week right here on Rise of the Fan.